Okay, I hope you can hear me here. So, let me go in and, here we go, edit this, no. Okay, edit this so we can like play the game together. Yes, okay. So basically, in Sodoku, the goal is each of these little like squares right here, each of them has to have like the numbers 1 through 9 in them. So while this box has 1 through 9, what you also got to make sure is that this equals 1 through 9 and like this equals 1 through 9. So basically, at the end of the game, each row up and down has 1 through 9. Each row side by side has 1 through 9, and each little square also has 1 through 9 in it. Now, the interesting thing about Sodoku is you can't have, like, we're going to use this 3 for an example. This 3 is in this row, so you wouldn't be able to go insert a 3 right there. You couldn't put 3 right here, because this would duplicate, meaning it wouldn't be 1 through 9 through here. And same goes for this 3. Another reason you couldn't put 3 right here is because it would disrupt the row being 1 through 9. So you got to make sure that each row doesn't have duplicating numbers, and you got to make sure, like, each row being this and this, but you also got to make sure that each cube has 1 through 9. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm going to go ahead and start off with this cube right here. So we already have 3, 3, and 3, so we don't need to worry about that. Now, granted, we do have, let's see how I should start this. We do have 6 and 6, so we know that 6 is going to have to be in one of these 2 columns. Let me think of the best number to start off would be. We're going to start off with a 2. So, obviously, neither of these have 2s in them. Neither of these 2 cubes have 2s. So, let's start off with this square and see where 2 could best fit in. Now, when I'm looking to see where 2 goes in, I'm seeing that this row already has a 2. So we can't insert it in this row right here. Well, what about this row? Well, we already got 5 and 7. And if you look, right here's a 2. So this row's knocked out. Meaning that 2 would have to go somewheres in these 2 spots. But if you go across this row, right here's a 2. So 2 would have to go right here. Now that you got your 2, let's move on to, we'll move up to this square for the time being. So, out of 1 through 9 in this square, we are missing 1 and 4. So, we got this row. We can't do 1 because there's a 1 right there. So 1 would have to go right here. And the only other missing number in this one is 4. So 4 would go right here. Once you get your first 1 through 9 cube made, the entire game gets so much easier. So, let's move on to this one right here now. Let's look for the number 1. We got our 1 right here, so this row's taken out. And we got our 1 right here, so this row's taken out. Meaning, in this square, there's only one place we can put a 1, which is right here. So, now this entire section right here, all of this has the 1s. Okay, let's look at 2s. So, obviously, you see the 2 up here, meaning we can't put a 2 in this row. Okay, we got a 2 right here, So we can't put a 2 in this row. Meaning, since these 2 rows are knocked out, we have to put a 2 in this row in the bottom cube. Because this cube has a 2 and this cube has a 2. These 2 rows cannot have 2s. So, in our bottom one, where do we have a place for a 2? There's only one answer. Right here. Okay. So now, each of our 3 squares right here, they have 1 through 3. What about 4? So, now that I'm looking for 4s, I'm noticing that this one and this one does not have a 4. So, let's start off with this cube right here. A 4 can't go here because there's a 4 right there. Okay. A 4 also couldn't go right here because there's a 4 up here. Okay. 4, it wouldn't be able to go here again because the 4 up here. So, since these 2 spots are marked off, the only place our 4 could go is right here. So, now we figured out that these 2 rows have their 4. We gotta figure out where the 4 goes down here. But since these 2 rows are knocked out, there's only one place we can put our 4 down here, which would be right there. Okay. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Well, let's go ahead and bring our attention back down to right here. Where can we insert a 5? Well, if we look at this row, we only have these 2 spots available. So, the 5 has to go in this row. If we go across now, oh, there's a 5 right here, meaning we can't put a 5 right there. So, the only place in this cube to put a 5 would be right here. Let's go ahead and find the missing number that would go right here. So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and wait, there's no 6. So boom. We now have 2 completed boxes. This box and this box. Okay, so now let's go ahead and figure out what these 2 numbers would be so we can go ahead and get this filled up. So, if we're looking, if you can notice the pattern, we're going to go ahead, here, let me show you. Let's focus on rows for a minute. If you notice in this row, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Kind of like how in this box we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See how it's all adding up 1 through 9? So now let's look at this row and figure out what we're missing so we can fill in these 2 blanks. Okay. So we got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. Meaning we're only missing 8 and 9. So we know 8 and 9 have to go in these 2 boxes. But where does 8 go and where does 9 go? Let's start off with 9. 9, let's put it here. But wait, there's a 9 over here. So that means 9 can't go here. 9 would have to go right up here. Notice how there's a 9 here and a 9 here, but there wasn't a 9 in the middle until we put it there. Kind of same with the 8s. Right here's an 8, right here's an 8. The 8 would have to go right here. Okay, so you got one entire section knocked out. Let's go. Let's come down. Where should we go from here? Let's look at this circle. Let's see what we can put in this little box. So, let's start off with 2s. There has to be a 2 somewhere in this box. But, because there's a 2 right here, these 2 spots can't be taken up. Meaning, in this little quad right here, 2 would have to go right here. You're doing great. Now you only got to fill in this box and this box. So, let's count up what we got and see what we're missing. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 9. We're only missing 7 and 8. So let's see where 7 and 8 can go. Can I put a 7 right here? No. Because if you look right up here, there's a 7. Meaning, the only other place out of these two spots for you to put a 7 would be right there. I don't like that 7. So now, the only missing number you have from this little box would be 8. Notice how the 7 and the 8 don't clash with the rows. That's the key. You just gotta make sure this is 1 through 9, this is 1 through 9, and that this is 1 through 9. That's basically what you're doing. Making sure it doesn't clash with anything else. I'm turning up my heat. I am freezing. Okay. This box right here has a lot of missing spaces. So I would recommend coming back to that. Now, let's go up top to this box right here. So, obviously, let's start off with number 1. There is a number 1 in this box right over here and this box right over here. Meaning these two rows cannot have a number 1. But this placement in this box could have a number 1. So, our number 1 would go right here. So, out of this, we're now missing 2, 3, and 8. We're going to go ahead and say that 2 can't go here because of the 2 right down here. So, for number 2, it would have to be right here or right here. But, look right here, there's a 2 down here. So, that only means the only spot our 2 can go would be right here. Now, we're only missing 3 and 8. So, let's go down the rows and let's look and see what would clash. This right here couldn't be a 3 because of this. This right here couldn't be an 8 because of this. But, there's no 3 in this row. And there's no 8 in this row. So, all we gotta do is go back, and this would be a 3, and this would be an 8. So boom. You got over half of your Sodoku done. Now, I typically find that this box is the hardest box to fill in, but since we got this box, and this box, and this box completed, I'd say let's go ahead and do this before we start on these 3 boxes. Okay, so what are we missing for right here? We're missing 1, 3, so let me just make a little mental note over here. We're missing 1, 3, 6, and 9. So 1, 3, 6, and 9. Okay. Where could 1 go? Let's put number 1 in. Can 1 go? Oh, I don't like that pen. Can 1 go right here? I'm going to give you a minute to look and answer. Pause the video if needed. No, 1 cannot go right there. Because look right over here. There's a 1. Okay. Well, can 1 go right here? Pause it. Come up with your answer. No, 1 cannot go right there. Because look, right over here's a 1. You couldn't put it in that row. And not only that, there's a 1 right here. So you wouldn't be able to put a 1 in this row. Meaning, so if we got this row knocked out, and this one knocked out, and this one, 1 would have to go in this spot. So, let's go ahead and fill in that 1. Okay, great. Now we just got 1, 3, 6, and 9. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to move my note right over here. 1, nope. We only got 3, 6, and 9. Let's go ahead and look and see where we can put our 3. Can 3 go right here? You should know the answer. No, there's a 3 right here. So this spot is a no. Meaning this spot is also a no. So there's still a 3 down here. And for the 3 right here, there's also 1 right here. So that would knock out these 2 columns. Out of this little square right here, the only place you would be able to put a 3 is right here. Okay. Now we're down to we only need 6 and 9. 6, 9. Okay. Can we put the 6 right here? Well, look, there's no 6 in this row. So you're good here. But there's a 6 right here. So no, you can't put a 6 there. Where can you put a 6? Right here. Meaning, this spot has to be a 9. Now let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And just for good measure, let's go ahead and look at this, for example. Right here's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, and 9. So boom. Hopefully you're catching the drift here a little bit. Now, let's get on over to these. What do we put in here? Okay. For this, let's start off with this, because you're only missing 2 numbers here. You got 1 and 2. Well, let's mark it down. We gotta find a 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you're missing a 5. And you're missing an 8. So we just gotta find 3, 5, and 8 to insert in here. Now, we already know from right here, 3 can't go there. Meaning 3 would have to go here or here. But which one? We don't know. Because there's no 3 in this one, there's no 3 in this one, and there's no 3 here. So all we know is that 3 is going to go in one of those spots. I'm not sure which. What about the 5? Well, the 5 can't go here because it's over here. And it wouldn't be able to go here either. So let's go ahead and put the 5 right here. Okay, that just leaves 8. Well, 3 and 8 are kind of interchangeable right now. We don't know which one goes in which box because we haven't figured out these yet. So, best thing for us to do, we'll just come back to 3 and 8 later. If you don't know where it's at, go try to figure out another box first. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look. Out of these, this little column right here, do we have any repeating numbers? Yes. We got a 4 and a 4. Meaning, down here, the 4 would have to go somewhere right in through here. So, to make filling in these 2 boxes easier, let's go ahead and knock out these 4s and put one right here. So, let's do that. So, we're going to put in a 4 right here. Does that work? No, because there's a 4 right there. Well, this one should be obvious. Can you put a 4 here? No, there's a 4 right here. Meaning, the only place you could put the 4 would be right here. Okay, great. We got the 4 knocked out. Let's go back up to these columns. Is there any other repeating numbers? Yes, you got a 1 here, and you got a 1 here. Meaning, the 1 in this bottom cube would have to go right through here. Okay, let's start from the bottom. Can we put a 1 here? No, because there's 1 right here. What about right here? Can we put the 1 here? No, there's a 1 right there. So, in this bottom cube, 1 could only go right there. Great. we got this somewhat knocked out now. Now, what should we move on to? Well, we do have the repeating 9 and 9, meaning 9 would have to go right through here. Let's go ahead and figure out where 9 goes. Can we put a 9 right here? No. There's a 9 over here. Your only other option for this would be right here. Why can't we put a 9 in these spaces? Well, like in these spaces in general. Well, that's because you got a 9 right here. Can't put it in this column. And you got a 9 right up here. So you can't put it in this column. And if you come over, looking at it like this, right here's a 9. So 9 definitely couldn't go there. And in this column, there's a 9 right here. So it wouldn't be able to go in these spaces. Your only option for the 9 would be right there. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let's come up to this one. Because we do have repeating numbers, which would be 7 and 7. So, up here, 7 would have to go in these three cubes, considering these columns are knocked out. So let's figure out where 7 goes up there. Can 7 go right here? No, there's a 7 over here. Can 7 go right there? No, there's a 7 right there. Meaning, the only place up here for 7 to go would be right there. This should be getting a little easier now, but we still don't know if 3 and 8 go, which one they go in right here. Let's see if we can figure out where does 3 go in up here. We'll see if we can figure out where 3 goes up here. So, we don't know where 3 would go. We would know it would have to go in one of these spaces, especially one of these two. If we look right through here, like right through here, we'll notice that there is a 3 here and a 3 here. So the 3 would have to go somewhere down here. But we still don't know, would 3 be okay here, here, or here? Same with right here. Where does 3 go? We gotta figure out these columns. Can we figure out where 3 goes down here? Well, let's look. 3 wouldn't be able to go here due to right here. And 3 wouldn't be able to go here due to right here. So the 3, you're stuck with the same issue. Which one does it go in? Sometimes you have to completely abandon your 3s and come back later. Okay. Let's look. What about this row right here? Let's go ahead and see if we can figure out the number we're missing here. We got a 1. See? We're missing this 2. So, since we're missing a 2 in general for this row, let's go ahead and just fill this in. And you know what? This row, we have time, we can fill in right here. Let's go ahead and figure out what goes right here. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. We're missing our 5. Our 5 would have to go right here. Since we're trying to eliminate numbers here to figure out where in the world 3 would go, let's go ahead and look at our 5s. We got a 5 right here in this row, and we got a 5 right here in this row, meaning the 5 would have to go in this spot up here or this spot up here. Let's go ahead and see if we can figure out where 5 goes. Okay. We know it's in this row. What about right up here? No. There's a 5 all the way over here. Meaning, the only other place we could put a 5 would be right here. Okay, great. We're trying to knock this out pretty good. Let's look and see what we're missing. You know what? Let's go up. Well, we know this is 3 and 8. That's not going to help us much. Let's go ahead and try to eliminate this row. We got all the numbers except for 1. So let's look. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, 6, 7. Where's 8? Well, that means that 8 would have to go right here. Wait a minute. Look right here. Weren't we wondering where 3 and 8 could go out of these two? Now we have our answer, because look, right here's an 8. So we wouldn't be able to put 8 in this column. Meaning 8 would have to go over here. So 3, woohoo, would go right here. We got one of our 3's out of the way. Great. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and look at this overall now. We got 2 repeating numbers. We need to make it a 3rd. We got an 8. We got an 8. These 2 columns are knocked out. Where does 8 go right here? Well, our only option would be to put 8 right there. Wait a minute. That means we have to put a 3 somewhere down here. Well, if we put 3 here, that wouldn't work because there's 3 right here. Meaning 3 could only go right here. Okay, let's go ahead and look overall. Let's go back to the column method. We're knocking out a 3 here because of right there. We're knocking out a 3 in this row right here. So the 3 up here, guess where it would go? The 3 could only go right here. Okay. We're getting somewheres. So let's come back down here. This square is only missing 1 placement. Let's count 1 through 9 and see which number we're missing for right here. We got a 1, we got a 2, a 3, 4, 5. See, we're missing 6. 6 would have to go right here. And you can always go back and check right through here and right through here to make sure your numbers isn't overlapping with something else. So now, you almost have your entire Sodoku board completed. You're only missing this and this. And that will be very simple to figure out. Just count this row 1 through 9 to figure out what you're missing, or you could even count this row 1 through 9 to see what you're missing. Let's go ahead and start that. We'll do this first. We got a 1. See, right there we go. We're missing a 2. 2 would have to go here. Do we have a 2 in this row? No. So, your 2's good to go there. Now, what else we're missing? Let's go ahead and do the square method here. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. We ain't got a 6. Your Sodoku board is now completed. If you want to go back through and double check to see if this entire board is right, focus first on squares. Do each of your squares have the numbers 1 through 9 inside of them? If they do, let's look at rows. Does this row have 1 through 9 filled? Does this row have 1 through 9 filled? Keep doing that with each row until you get done. I'm going to pull up the correct answers on my phone just to glance real quick. 4's right, 1's right, 8, 3, 2, 7, 6, 8, 3, 2, 5, 1, 2, 9, 1, 8, 4, 6, 9, 1, 3, 3, 8, 5, 4, 6, 5, 2, 2, 8, 2, 1, 8, 6, 3, 4, 5, 9. Yes. I did correctly do this Sodoku board while I was filming, which is a pretty good sign. It means everything is right. I showed you how to correctly fill out a Sodoku board. Now, I can completely understand how me explaining how to fill all of that out will be confusing. So if you want to, you can go to your app store, just search up Sodoku, and the app that helped me learn how to play was this one right here. You can get guides to see where to put the numbers. It'll help you. There's different levels. It's very easy. Don't with the hint notes. The hint notes don't make sense. But it'll show you how to play. It's very simple. Very good game. I still have it on my phone. So if you're interested, download the Sodoku game. I hope this helped. Yeah.